Hey guys, Westy on the mic here.
Hey guys, Westy here, commentating a different type of round. This is my week 6 from the Global League Season 3. One of my best, actually, it is my best week yet of the season. These are some of the most high pressure rounds I think we play, as everyone wants to do as well as they can in Global League. Kind of sets the standard for elite leagues and events in our game. Anyway, first hole, I knew my miss was left. I did not want to end up in the bushes on the right and end up having to play for bogey. So a little bit shaky, having to make a first throw in of 80 feet for par, but got it done. This hole, I do like this hole, but the three win scares me. Didn't want to turn it over too much. Obviously, I did not turn it over enough, and I was a little bit fortunate to stay in bounds. Still did not love the position I ended up in here. I thought about going around to the left, but the idea of making another longish throw in this wind was scary. So I decided I'm going to go up over the top. Decided to go one disc above the accurate old musket because I didn't want to get stopped short and have to go back to the drop zone. Here I'm just hoping, please hit a tree, please hit a tree. Didn't hit one of the ones I wanted. If you've played these courses before, you know these real world courses. Some of these bushes, the collision is it's like death. Like it's very hard to get through. So I was pretty scared, thinking I'm going to start par par. Very lucky I was able to find a gap through the bushes and salvage that birdie. Not a routine run of the mill birdie there. Anyway, I see this hole, see this wind, and I'm thinking, sweet, can get that first par back. This looks like an eagle opportunity. This is my normal line, neutral wind, and it just turns over out of my hand. Double tree kick. And don't you love it when you're in the middle of Global League and you find a new spot you didn't even know existed before? Well, that's what I did here. So sorry for the delay. I'm kind of taking my time trying to figure out, do I have any options out of here? Can I have a miraculous escape like I had on hole two and get out without any collision? And then I'm trying to decide, do I use my Light Glide Rive, so max power, and just try to send it out thinking I'm going to hit collision? The problem is if I do that and I go long, it's probably costing myself an extra stroke. I decide the miss to make is to be short and get par if needed. So I did hit collision, didn't hit one of those other trees on the way out, so landed safe. But 122 here. In hindsight, I wish I had played a little bit further to the left. Regardless, I didn't feel safe about the ability to get there. I thought that if I put it left enough, I might end up missing deep and causing myself extra strokes. So decided to lay up, be a little bit chicken, and take a par. So 2 out of 3 pars here, not my favorite. And then, oh, this hole and just the most brutal wind. It was kind of scary to even see it. And then I did not turn it over enough. The silver lining here is being this far back, you're not even really tempted to try to go for birdie. So not using a skip disc. In this wind, I'm pretty confident it'll move my turn rive back to the left, which it did. I never really felt like it was in danger here. And now I have a pretty simple approach up. I can even take a stab at it here. I'm going to use my hope. I'm thinking this probably isn't enough power, but I'm totally fine with that. It hurts to take par on, that's some weird ground play. Hurts to take par on 3 of the first 4 holes, but I'm in full damage control and know that I can possibly make it back later if I just stay alive in this round. Love this wind. I often go glow breaker through the gap there. You can see the gap where there's OB in the middle. I often try to cross that. Even in multiplayer rounds, I'll often do it. But with this wind, I know that I can reach the green for eagle, even if I lay up short. However, I did not turn my rive enough, and I ended up fading out early. So the smart play, I will say, is to just lay it up. That's what I should have done. But I was kind of in a bad mood after missing 3 of the first 4 holes and decided this was one I really wanted to go for. Obviously, this is kind of a make or break shot. If I miss this, that green, the slope is very slippery, and I'm probably going out of bounds. So as this leaves my hand, I'm just thinking, don't airball, don't airball. Oof, huge sigh of relief. Unreal sigh of relief. And that really kind of turned my round back around. I'm thinking 300 through 5, very solid, very happy with that. The scores I was seeing coming in, I was totally good with that. So on this hole, there obviously are eagle plays. If you throw a driver off the tee, or even if you get in a perfect spot with your sapphire off the tee and then decide to send it with a turn driver here. But there's just so much danger in this round, and even on this hole because the fairways are so thin and there's the trees and stuff on the left. Decide I'm just going to go sapphire, sapphire, accurate roll musket, take my easy birdie. On this hole, easy birdies were not easy to come by, so just decided to take it. Anyway, boring hole there, but not going to apologize for the birdie. And we are on to hole 7. This one, obviously, another one of the hardest par threes in the game, and one of the hardest winds to go with it. So my thought is to slide left and to give it some anhyzer. The one thing you really don't want to do on this side is to hit one of those light poles and stay out of bounds way back in the fairway. But you also don't want it to fade left because then you're making this long shot for par as opposed to birdie. So this wind, this distance, I still feel pretty confident, but it's definitely a little scary. And you can see I leave it way too high, way too left, but got a very lucky chain and rim grab there. Very excited to have that go in. This is another hole. Let's see this wind. What's with all the 3 head right to left winds here? This is crazy. But this round was, it was brutal. It was like playing in a tornado. Anyway, pretty good. That's kind of the best case scenario for what that drive is. And basically, 157 here. I know I have a shot. Again, it's one of those where in my mind, it's probably hard to give it a full send. I'm just a little scared in the wind. My fingers are shaking, a little sweaty at this point. But we're thinking we got a shot here. Let's see if we can make it. And just short. I know you're thinking it's way short, but I mean, it felt close at the time, and I didn't feel any shame in that miss. Regardless, in for par, 5 under through 8. My goal for the round was 7 under, but that was before I saw these wins. So if I can make this birdie, I'll get to 6 and be very happy with that. It's a big relief to get to this hole. I think the easiest hole in this whole first round layout, and also have a 1 win pushing this direction. It's just like, thank you so much. Thank you for giving us just a little bit of a break finally at the end. And this one, I guess it was kind of close to the hay bales, but never really felt like it was in danger. And we're in for the birdie. So 600 through round 1. Don't feel too bad about that. All right, took a little bit of a break after round 1. I was a little bit shaky. I definitely felt the nerves, but very happy to get that 6 under. Seeing the scores come in, it was in line with what I would want it to be. This one definitely giving an ace run on all the par threes on Lakeside, even with wins, even with the pressure of a round like this. I'm going to give them all ace runs because there's not that much risk. Feels a little bit scary doing a long putt like this to start a round, especially when the fingers feel dry or sweaty. Either one, it's just a little bit scary to have to depend on that. But you know me, I much prefer doing that than trusting a short throw in to the whims of the 3 wind. Here, landed in that awkward spot again. One of the easiest eagles in the game, and I'm having to do one of these putts again. Regardless, saved it again, and we are on to hole 3. So this is probably the trickiest of the par 3s on this course for me to get. This wind, I don't mind it. We'll see what we can do. Kind of a classic high arching aim point here. Oh man, that one felt really close. Pretty much the only miss you can do with that line to still go OB is to hit that rim and skip off with a lot of velocity. So at least I avoided that, but um, would have been nice to sneak an ace in just to recoup one of the strokes I lost in hole 1, but it is what it is. And this one, the easiest albatross hole in the game, still a very fun hole. I love this hole. It's always fun to see the disc flying and get over the lake there. And we make light work of that. Kind of our third 50-foot putt already. Oof, this wind, very scary to see for this hole. Decide to go low and do a lot of anhyzer, and I'm thinking I'll still be good. We'll find out. All right, feeling like I crushed this line. In that first, all those skips were so disappointing. And here I'm just kicking myself, and I'm so bummed. But then, look at that. I somehow crossed, and it gave me the spot on the side of the lake, and I have a chance to save my birdie. So we'll see if I can clutch up and do that. Putting a little extra power and height on it as it's kind of uphill and end up in the perfect spot, except I thought it might spit out on me. That would have been brutal to miss crossing the water and then also get a spit out, but very happy to be able to take birdie after what I thought was going to be a for sure par there. Anyway, this hole, I feel like I use this one a lot. almost snuck it in, but didn't quite give it enough. And then I almost slid too far. If you get a few more feet up there, that tree will have collision, but luckily I'm all good. Take the birdie. No harm done yet. This is another one that I don't feel great. I don't ace it that often. It kind of goes in streaks for me. My aim point, I feel like I'm always changing it. I am always going with the accurate roll explorer here, but yeah, in the one tail, I did have hopes of making it, but don't feel too bad missing it. It's just always nice to get a bonus. Anyway, moving on to hole 8, the island hole. Very fun one, unless you skip off the basket and miss the island, of course. Classic aim point for me. For me, my safe run isn't really that different from my ace run, so it's kind of the same aim point, and I was way left, plenty fine with that. So another birdie. Lots of birdies on the par threes here. Still don't feel too bad. So we're on hole 9. This is one that it's giving you a lot more options now that the water skip discs are in the game. I used to always go right to that first island and then glide roll rive into the green. And the only times it would really give you issues would be if there were a 2 or 3 wind, kind of coming at you. Regardless, with the water skip rive, I almost always go this line now. For some reason, the second skip is super dependable. If I don't turn it way over, I don't miss this island. And then from here, it's just an accurate fairway into the green. And I much prefer that to having to approach with a rive and, having a little more variability coming from the right side. Anyway, would have liked 1 or 2 more strokes, but very happy with the 13 under in round 2. All right, here we have round 3. This hole, Cajo Backwoods 9. I was seeing, watching the scoreboards, a lot of people were getting the eagle here, so knew it would be a pretty gettable one like this. With a tailwind, I'll generally go glide roll rive. If it's some kind of more adverse wind, I'll do my water skip one just for a little bit of added insurance. But no issues here. It kind of even rolls around to about 46 feet, so easy birdie. We like that. When you see those easy birdie or common birdies getting scored on the leaderboards, you're like, oh, I wonder what it is. I want to get it. So good to get that out of the way. And then this hole, generally not an issue. I was pretty relieved to not skim those leaves and have any kind of throw in. Uh, haven't I've been feeling pretty good with throw-ins recently, but you just don't want to leave things to chance if you can help it when you're playing important events like this because you're just a little more nervous and the little mistakes seem to magnify a little bit. So this is a perfect wind if you ever wanted to take an eagle shot at this hole, but I do not. Just going for birdie. This hole, it's an interesting one. It's not one of my favorites. If you want to ever chance an eagle, you pretty much have to know that if you miss in any way, you're gonna end up getting a par or worse. So that's not very fun. Regardless, 40 feet short is better than 10 foot long on that hole, and I was 30 feet short, so happy with that easy birdie. This hole is typically another easy birdie. I will generally go this forehand route with a skip forehand musket. It's often a chance at an ace, but with the roll, I'm very content just to sit inside circle 1 there and take another easy birdie. So the card is staying pretty clean so far. This one, I wasn't seeing very many aces. I don't think I saw any aces on the leaderboard, and I'm not going to be the first one. I do have an ace run skip play here, but don't want to mess with those guardian trees in an important round like this. So perfect, easy birdie once again. Very happy with that. Ooh, Harrowing Woods 8. Yes, so I was seeing a couple eagles on the scorecard with this one, so I was getting kind of excited. And this is one of my favorite holes in the game. This is just about the perfect spot, 197 out. I know it's a little bit too long for my windbreak hope, so I disc up to the extra glide version. And I really don't want to hit this tree. That is priority 1, so I'm aiming a little bit around and I'm hyzering, not quite full power with the glide hope. Oh, felt good to sink that. Nice to get a little bonus shot anytime, just to kind of make up for whatever misses you might get. And I had a few, especially in round 1, so that's a fun one. Oak Hill 9 is one that I'm 99% of the time just laying up for birdie, just letting it slide down the hill and be an easy putt. That is plenty good for me. Now we'll see which par fours we have on Oak Hill. All right, hole 8 to start with. I kind of have two main strategies here. Sometimes I'll do a turn glide backhand, but in most winds I will do this, the forehand glide skip with an aim point about like so. Lucky I didn't skim one of those early branches to slow me down. I was hoping to not have to have much of a throw in, but if you're going to have an uphill throw in, this is kind of the hole to do it. These baskets are pretty friendly for them. And we'll see if I can make this here. Oof, kept it high, but snuck it in. The chains grabbed it. Thank you, basket. Now for this one, hole one of the simpler holes on Oak Hill. But with this 3 wind, you need to turn it over enough, and it looks like I did. And then you need to avoid the dud skip, which I also was lucky enough to do. And with that, we should have, yep, a long putt. So very satisfied with that. 13 under in hole 3. Last I checked was still the hot score for the round. Don't really feel like I missed a stroke on that hole. And yeah, feels pretty good. All right, on to round 4. My goal for this round, seeing the scores coming in, was a 9 under. Looks like there's one hole that's a pretty straightforward eagle for most, and there's a couple other holes where I'm seeing a few eagles here and there. So if I go clean on this round, I'll be more than happy. And yeah, first one, I learned this line from my teammate Jory Holbrook. Pretty simple, straightforward line to just get up there for an easy birdie putt. This is one of the ones where I was seeing people getting those bonus eagles. I get it every once in a while. With this wind, it's definitely possible. However, I turned it over a little too much, and it skims those branches. And I'm going to be about 200 out here. Now, in hindsight, I would definitely just take a putter, maybe a mid, and just lay this up to the left side there. I instead try to do this kind of half bid with my Explorer. As you can see, I'm not giving it nearly enough power. And it ends up just being a silly thing where, I could have just laid that up. Instead, I do this awkward play, and now I have this weird, excuse me, kind of throw in, or not throw in, but weird angle putt. And, still should make that every time, but just kind of made it a little harder on myself than I needed to. And then this hole, I was not seeing very many eagles on the scorecard. I do like this win. It's very fun. We'll see how far I can push up there with my turn glide drive. Um, Took kind of a weird hop to the left. I wasn't going to have a good chance of this throw in anyway. Now, I do want to give this a shot, but I also am not dying to be 80, 90 feet long if I do airball it. So I think I was kind of chicken when I was pulling that back and didn't give it full power. I'm not even 100% sure full power would have got me there, but regardless, I'm satisfied with that birdie. It's, you know, easier to miss that birdie than it is to snag the eagle, I would say. All right, Coyote Canyon hole 2. I do like this hole. Definitely one you can sneak in an eagle every once in a while. Took a very, very nice bounce off of that cliff. Propelled me way forward. I should be under 200 feet, I believe. And yes, 185. So the Hope has a little bit of lift, and I would worry that sometimes like it pops up and hits the roof of that cave. I don't want that to happen. So I go with my Claymore on backhand, and I should have aimed it a little bit lower. The aim point was on, but I was high and airball. But still, even though I haven't gotten any of these bonus strokes the last few holes, I've definitely been happy to just take the easy birdies. And here we go. Here we have an ace attempt. This wind makes it a little bit too far for my Claymore, so I'm going to do my Warship line instead. And felt decent about it, but I left it short and left and didn't give it a chance. So yet another birdie for me, assuming I can make this. And again, it's always kind of a little bit of a bummer, like you're thinking about it when you know that all those holes were technically gettable and you had a chance at them, but happy to stay clean too. This is a hole that definitely has haunted me in league and event play from time to time. I did opt for the glide roll ride, even though it's got that glide that can make it sway a little more left and right in that wind. But I just really wasn't feeling a throw in at this stage of the game, and that time it pays off. So satisfied. All right, here's the hole I was seeing everyone getting eagles on. Makes sense. One wind. I have a what's the play video on this hole if you want to check this out just to get my aim points. I think it's pretty straightforward in neutral winds. And yeah, very happy with that. 62 feet, basically a putt. And we're in. So, all right, 8 under through 7 on this round. Feeling pretty good about this. Northern Lights 8. This is a hole that gives me a little bit of PTSD. And in one of the Christmas Rumble events, if I had been able to birdie this hole and birdie the last hole in the event, then I would have taken a share of the win. However, I hit that T sign on my drive, and I ended up taking, I believe, a double bogey and lost by a couple strokes. Very lucky to miss that roof, very lucky to miss that tree, and then also lucky to bounce forward off that light pole. So that approach, I brought in a lot more risk than I needed, and I am lucky to end up with a birdie there. So yeah, that could have gone worse, but definitely the luck comes and goes. Speaking of that, we'll see if I can compensate correctly on this hole. So I definitely remember last time in round two, I, turned it over. I thought I had the perfect line, but I did not. This time I leave it higher, but I didn't turn it enough, and I'm not going to get the skips I need. And this time I did not cross the water either, so I have to make this full throw in for my birdie look. We'll see if I can save it again. 182, I don't feel too bad about this. I think it's a little bit uphill, so I'm going to do my full forehand hope throw, and we'll see if I can make it. And the whole time in the air, I thought I had it, but left it an inch short, and that's how it goes sometimes. So, stings to end the whole week on that, but I played well enough this week where there wasn't the crazy stroke separation in between there. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this content. It's my first time filming an event like this. Hopefully I can remember to do it in future weeks as well. So let me know if you have any questions or if you want to see anything differently in the way I present these types of videos. Thanks, guys.